Welcome to another tech video. Finally, we've got the go-ahead to install our Wi-Fi bridge. So today we're going to be looking at the setup of the sender and receiver units for our Wi-Fi bridge. So these will do about 38 kilometers line of sight. We're going to be reconfiguring them so that they're only going to be doing under 1 kilometer. Okay, so today we are going to be setting up the TP-Link wireless bridge. So first unit I've got here is going to be the transmitter, and what I've done so far is I have connected our PoE adapter. So what I've got here is I've got a cable coming out into my laptop. I've got another cable which is connected into the PoE port and the PoE injector, which I'm going to plug into the CPE710 Ethernet port. Once I plug that in and switch it on, we get our lights flash. We get our first blue light, which is our power light, and once our second light comes on, which is the network connection, then we should be good to connect to it. Okay, which it is. So that means we're now okay and it's up and running. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to configure the laptop to make sure that it's got an IP address in the same range that this is currently set to. So this is set to 192.168.0.254, and we want to give our laptop the same, or an IP address in the same range. So to do that, you want to make sure that your Wi-Fi is disabled. We're going to open our network and internet settings. We're going to click on Ethernet. I'm going to change our adapter options. We're going to find our Ethernet adapter. We're going to go to Properties, and then we're going to enter the IP details in the IP4 settings. Not sure why this is set to that, but we're going to give it a 192.168.0.20 IP address, and we're going to OK that. That's OK, so that's now set to 192.168.0.20. Just go in and double check it. Yep. So that's our Ethernet adapter configured. So now we can open it up and go to 192.168.0.254, and we can get to our device straight away because we're directly connected effectively. We're going to click on continue. We're going to enter a username and password, which is admin. We're going to select our region to United Kingdom. We're going to agree to the terms of use, and we're going to click in login. And we're then going to have to change our password for security. Which is done. Okay, so we're going to do the configuration on this manually. So the first thing we're going to do is we want to go into our network settings, and we're going to change it from static to dynamic, and our fallback IP is 192.168.0.254, which is absolutely fine. That means basically if it can't get a DHCP address, it will fall back to that one. So this is a way that you can always get through to it. If you disconnect it from the network and then directly connect it, it's always going to use that those details. But for this setting, we're going to select dynamic, and we're going to apply that, and then we're going to save the changes. Okay, so at that point, what we now need to do is we now need to change our cable. So that's as much configuration as we're doing on direct connected laptop. So I'm going to disconnect our LAN cable, and I'm going to connect in with a cable that plugs into our network switch for our local network. And then on the device, I want to make sure that that is all got its Wi-Fi, got its network connection on the second port, which it has. But what I'm going to do, just to make sure, is I'm going to open up IP scan and see if I can see it on our network, see if it's picked up an IP address, and which it has. So 192.168.10.58. So let's navigate to that. .168.10.58. Okay, so we log in with the details that we previously set. Select continue. Okay, we're going to do manual configuration on this. So let's leave it at access point mode for the time being, and then we're going to go in and make some changes here. So we're going to just change it to Wi-Fi 5, AC only. Channel frequency we're going to leave, ERP limit, so that is set to 23 dB at the moment. Security mode, so we're going to set that to WPA PSK, and the version we're going to use WPA2. Encryption we're going to do AES, and the password we're going to give it a password. And we're going to apply that. Okay, there we go. Save our changes. Let's go back to look at the status. Maximum transmit rate, yes. Distance, okay, so let's go into our wireless settings. We're going to scroll down and we're going to change our distance from auto. We're going to change our distance from 38 kilometers down to 1 kilometer. And then we're going to apply that. Save those changes. Okay. So I'm just going to increase the strength of the password. So let me just make a note of the Wi-Fi name. Let's just update this passphrase, make it a bit stronger. Apply that. Or system settings, in actual fact, we want to change our time zone to be GMT. Dublin, Edinburgh, London, Lisbon. And I'm going to apply that, save it, and then I'm going to go into daylight time saving. I'm going to enable it. I'm going to do predefined mode Europe, and I'm going to apply that. And now I'm going to click on save, and then I'm going to click on get GMT. It's already updated in actual fact. That should change now to 11:06. Perfect. Okay, so that's quite important. The next thing I'm going to do is to add the transmit option to the device name, so we can find it out. I'm going to apply that again, save it again. Okay, here we go. So that is now in access point mode. Got a nice strong password. Nobody should be able to get onto that. Okay, so now that part is completed, and then we can put that to one side. We're going to leave that powered on, and we're going to take our second unit, which is going to be our receiver, and we're going to do exactly the same. So I've already pre-populated the PoE device. That is plugged into the PoE port on there. I'm then going to plug that in, and I'm going to connect the LAN port directly to my laptop again. I'm going to switch that on. So now this is come on, so we can see our power light, and then we can do the initial configuration on the laptop directly. So once that device has powered up, I'm going to need to disable the Wi-Fi on here. For some reason it's come back on. So I'm going to open up a connection to 192.168.0.254, and this is for our receiver unit. I'm going to log in with admin, select our region as United Kingdom, click on agree to the terms of service, log in, change our password. Okay, and here we are. Right, so the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to change this from access point mode to client. And say yes. Then I'm going to go into network. I'm going to change this from static. I'm going to change this to dynamic. Before I do that, I'm actually going to go into our system. I'm going to change our time zone settings to GMT. I'm going to set our daylight saving to European. It's not going to pick up the time because we're not connected to the internet yet, but I'm going to click on save. I'm going to change the host name to be receive. Save that again. And then I'm going to go into our wireless settings. I'm going to change this to AC mode only. There we go. And then I'm going to click on survey. So it looks for the Wi-Fi networks. And I can see here that we've got our TP-Link outdoor system, which is our transmitter. So we're going to select that and we're going to click on lock to AP. We're then going to go back in and change our version to WPA2, our encryption to AES, and our passphrase that we used earlier. Like that. And we're going to set our distance. We're going to untick the auto. We're going to set that to 1 kilometer. I think that's everything. Let's just double check it. And then we're going to apply those settings. And then we're going to click on save. Okay, so that is now configured in client mode. One final thing that we have to do is we need to change this from static to dynamic. We're going to leave our fallback IP as 192.168.0.254 like we did on the other one, so we can always get to it. I'm going to click on apply, and then we're going to click on save. And the next thing is I need to now disconnect from the laptop and then reconnect to our router, but to make sure that it's dropped its network connection, our second light has gone out, which is correct. And then we want to connect our LAN back in there, so we should be able to see this Ethernet connection come up, which it has. Now on our unit over here, we should be able to do IP scan. Okay, and there's our two devices. So it should be .57, I think. Okay, maximum transmit rate is correct. Distance 1 kilometer. Let's check our host name. Okay, so our host name should now be receive. Let's now check our settings. Okay, that's fine. Close that down, and we should be able to click on get GMT now, because that should be picking up a connection from the network, which it has. Management. Okay, don't need to do anything. That wireless. Let's check our settings. AC mode only. Transmit power 23 dBm. Lock to the access point. We've got our settings and encryption there, which is fine. Okay, so that all looks good. Go to our status. Perfect. LAN 0. That is all working okay. Right, so the next thing that we want to do is let's connect to our transmitter unit. Okay, 1 kilometer is correct. Maximum transmit rate, AC only. Go to our wireless just to double check it. AC only is correct. WPA2, correct. That is all looking okay. Okay, so let's now get the correct time. We're going to do get GMT. Should see that change. Yep, 11:16. Apply that. Back to our status. Okay, that's all working correctly. Now, finally, the last test is what I want to do is to see if I can get a connection. So let me try. Let's close that down. And now we can see we've got our transmitter, our receiver. Our transmitter is connected into our network switch, which is giving internet access. So what I want to do now is I want to disconnect the LAN on this unit, and I want to connect into my PC. But what I want to do first is I want to change my PC so that it's now using DHCP. And we'll see if it's going to work. So if I go to Ethernet, change adapter options, properties, set this to DHCP. And then let's take a connection from our laptop and plug that into the LAN port on the PoE unit. And let's see what happens. Okay, so we've changed to connected. Let's just have a look at that. On the laptop, we've now changed to connected. So let's check to see what IP address we've got. So we should have a 192.168.10 address, which we do. Okay, so now let's see if we can access the internet. Let's go to Google, do a speed test. Okay, so we've got the full throughput. Look at that, that's amazing. So what we've got here is we've got our laptop that is connected to this device, our receiver. The receiver is doing a wireless connection to the transmitter, and the transmitter is plugged into our network. So that's all working correctly now, which is incredible. So that's all there is to that, basically. So what we've done is we've set up our transmitter unit, our receiver unit. This is in access point mode, so if necessary, other devices will be connected to it or will be able to connect to it. However, we won't be sharing the SSID or the password to anybody. This device here is locked to the AP on this unit using its MAC address, so it's locked to the MAC address, so no other devices are going to be able to connect to this one. And then what we can do is, instead of our laptop connecting directly into here, we're going to be able to connect this to a network switch and plug in any number of devices into that. So that is the full configuration of the TP-Link CPE710 system. So on the whole, that was not too difficult a setup to do. If you've got any questions, leave us a comment down below. We'll leave a link to the units and potentially the other bits and pieces that we're going to be using down below as well. Just want to say thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.